Okay, so I will continue with this. Now, next topic is Bayesian belief network, that is for unit number 5. So in previous lecture, we have seen Bayes theorem and examples on that. Okay. So next is a Bayesian belief network. So what is Bayesian belief network? So this will start with this. Now, there are two basic concepts with respect to basic belief network. First one is in a directed acyclic graph, that is a visual representation of the events. First one is in a direct acyclic graph. It's in a visual representation of the event. Here, event is drawn from the problem statement, whatever is given. So we'll go through this example. Now, if you'll see that in a oval shape, three events are represented. That is, first is a rain, second is dog bark, and third is a cat hide. Now I will explain you what the problem statement. Problem statement is that when there will be a rain, when there will be rain, then immediately next event will happen, that will dog bark. Means if there will be a rain, then dog bark. And if dog bark, that is the second event happens, then third event will occur, that is a cat hide itself in a home. Okay, or maybe around in a garden as well. If there is a rain, then dog will bark. If dog will bark, then cat will hide. If you see that these events are dependent on each other. Okay. So that problem statement is molded into a directed acyclic graph. That is from rain to the dog bark to the cat hide. Okay. Now this one more thing about this problem statement, that these events occurs frequently, not always. Okay. That means that if there is a rain, it's not the case that always dog barks. Okay. It will not be the case that always dog barks. So there will be an uncertainty. If dog will bark, whatever the number of time dog barks, then it's not the case that cat hide itself at that much number of times. That also an uncertainty will be there. So this event occurs frequently and not always. That is, in the real situation, whatever is there, that is explained through this problem statement. Okay. So one thing clear, that it frequently, not always. Okay. So Bayesian belief network represents probabilistic relation between these events. That is rain to dog bark to the cat hide. Bayesian belief network represent the probabilistic relation between the event. So what is the problem statement? In that first component is, that is preparation of this visual representation of the problem statement. That is through the directed acyclic graph. In this oval that represent the events. Also we can term it as a node. Okay. So this three events, three nodes, and this arrowheads showing from the top to the bottom means that this will be the rain will be the parent event for dog bark and the cat hide. But immediate for the dog bark, parent event is a rain. For cat hide, parent event is a dog bark. Okay. So we'll tell you again that parent concept. For dog bark, parent is rain. For cat hide, the event parent event is the dog bark. So as event occurs frequently, it's not always explained through this problem statement. Now, directed acyclic graph is with effect with the action. That here actions are the hypothesis with the two possibilities, that event will be true or false. Okay. So that these are actions with respect to the event, that rain will be there or rain will not be there. That are the hypothesis. It is true or it is false. Same time for the dog bark after the rain. If rain is there, then dog barks. Okay. If rain is not there, then also will be the uncertainty that dog will bark or dog will not bark. Okay. Now, if dog barks and if dog not barks, this is the hypothesis for this event. And cat hide. It's frequently, so it's not always. So we cannot say that if dog barks, then cat should hide itself in a room, kitchen, whatever, maybe in a garden behind the tree. Now, this directed acyclic graph can also be looked as the conditional probability of the events. As we have seen in the Bayes theorem that will work with respect to the conditional probability. That if rain, if you just now just observe with respect to the conditional probability, if rain, then dog dog barks and cat hide itself. Okay. If there is a rain, then dog barks and cat hide itself. Just be remember it's frequent, not always. Okay, so this is the first component, that is a directed acyclic graph, that is a visual representation of our problem statement. Now, second important component with respect to the Bayesian belief network, that is the conditional probability table. So from this first step, we have represented our problem statement in a directed acyclic graph that will use here for preparation of the conditional probability table. Okay. Now this conditional probability table is presented values of the observation. Okay, this is not given in the problem statement or sometimes given in the problem statement. So these are just the observation. These figures values we have not computed. Okay, so be clear it's not a computed. This is just the observation. So what observation is saying that now with respect to this first two event, rain and the dog bark, that probability of dog bark with respect to the rain. So this is shown in terms of this table. Just dog bark X is taken, for rain P is taken. Now B is that is dog bark, negation P that dog not bark. R is for rain is there, negation rain, no rain is there. So total observations, 48 observations we have taken. So in denominator at each place, so 48 is here. So this particular first cell, that 9 by 48 means what? That is dog bark and rain is there. Likewise 18 by 48, total observation is 48. Out of that 18 are what? That is dog bark and rain was not there. Okay. Likewise this two last row, that is dog not barks and the rain is there, that is 3 by 48. Dog not bark as well as no rain is there, that is 18 by 18 times out of 48. Okay. So probability of X by P, that is dog bark with respect to the rain, that X is the considered node. Okay, so here considered node is what? Dog bark. Okay. And if you'll observe with respect to the parent node, P parent node for the dog bark is rain. So in conditional probability, that second part is that is with respect to the parent node only. If you're calculating the conditional probability for cat hide, then that should be with respect to dog bark only, because it's a parent node for the cat hide. So now you'll see that is from the table the values are computed. So as I told, 9 by 48, that is 48 means that is a total 48 observations are there. Out of that 9 times dog bark. So from table, probability of X by P. So first cell, that is B is true, rain is there, that probability is 0.90. Likewise, the probabilities of the other cells are computed. These all are the observation, it's not the computations we have done. Okay. So these two components, that is first one is in a directed acyclic graph and second is the conditional probability. These are the basics that we need to go with the Bayesian belief network to understand. Okay. So in Bayesian belief network, that is what the problem statement is given, that problem statement we are molded into a directed acyclic graph, that is the events and the actions after that happening of the event, with the two possibilities, that hypothesis yes and no. Okay. So another example, now we'll solve this, that is Bayesian belief network, through this second example. That problem statement, that is what represented in terms of DAG, burglary, earthquake, B and capital E. If burglary is there or earthquake is there, then alarm will start. That is capital A. This is the event of alarming will be there. That is based on burglary and the earthquake. And second, that is if alarm is there and nobody at the home. If alarming is there and nobody at the home, after a fixed time, that alarm will call to the P1, that person P1 and P2, that is another home. That two, maybe the case is that this person P1 will call to the A, that is the person who's at home this system is setup, having the setup. So P1 will call. If P1 will not receive call at the same time, the alarming is there for 30 seconds, no any reply from the owner, then alarm will call to the P2 person. Okay. So this is the problem statement that is molded through this directed acyclic graph. Burglary, earthquake, then alarm will be there at the home. If nobody is at the home, then after maybe 30 seconds, it will call to the person P1 as well as call to the person P2. Okay. Again, uncertainty is there with respect to this problem statement. It's not an 100% that every time it will work, that burglary will be there and will not be there, right? Earthquake, that is yes and no. It should not be the case that is 100% of the time alarm will alarming in a state of alarming if burglary happen or earthquake happens. Okay. So the case is that might happen that burglary not happen, earthquake not happen, then also alarm will be there. Alarming will be there. And same uncertainty from this event alarm to this person called P1 as well as P2. So that is explained through this that uncertainty as P1 that not always call to A after alarming. That means for this first event with respect to this event. Now ringtone of this is maybe due to that the case is discussed that ringtone of alarm and his home phone ringtone is the same, or maybe he is not at his home, right? Uncertainty with respect to the P2 that not always called to A after alarming due to any reason. So this P1 and P2 will get receive call, but they have not replied it to the person who is at the home A. Okay, so that uncertainty is there. So this is the problem statement represented through the first concept of DH. Now the observed probabilities. Okay, observed probabilities. This is the observation. This is we have not computed this. Okay, so this is the given. Now observation is that is if probability of burglary is true is what 0.001. If E is true, that is earthquake is true, then this is the probability. That if burglary is false, no burglary is there, and alarm is there, right? So if burglary is false, then probability is this, and if earthquake is not there, then the probability of this, that is 0.998. So these are the parent node probability with respect to the alarm node. So true, burglary is true, and alarming is there. This one. Earthquake is true and the alarming is there, right? So in Bayesian belief network, we are computing the probability, conditional probability with respect to its parent node. Okay. Now the computation, the probability of alarming, that burglary is for the earthquake, probability of alarming is true and probability of alarming is false. Hello? Okay, so probability of alarming, burglary, earthquake, A equal to, that is probability of alarming is true and probability of alarming is false. So we'll see this first table now, probability of alarming. So as I told, uncertainty is not there, so it should not be the always case. That is, if both are true and the probability of alarming will be false is not a 0%, right? So it is a frequent, not always. So if both are true, then these are the values of probability with respect to the alarming 95, that P and F, FT and FF, that is both are false. Burglary is not happened as well as earthquake is also not there. Okay. With respect to alarming, conditional probability with respect to the event parent node. Next is the probability P1, that is the calling from this alarming, alarm will call to the P1, after alarming call will go to the P1 and call will go to the P2. So probability of P1. Now this parent node for this call to the P1 is only A, that is alarming. So we have taken A as a true or false, that is hypothesis. Probability of P1 is equal to true, that is 0.90. Probability of P1 equal to false with respect to alarming is true is 0.90. Likewise, this value is for the false. Okay. Next is the probability of the call to the P2. Again, that it's alarming is the event immediate parent for this call to the P2, and with respect to this probabilities are there. Okay. So the first two basics, that is first one is that directed acyclic graph, and second conditional probability table. So this will the DAG for this problem statement, and this is the conditional probability table. Now these values are the observation. This we haven't computed this. Right? Now, if the question is next slide, that is after this going through. Now question is that what is the probability of call to the P1, call to the P2, alarming is there, no burglary and no earthquake. So computation of this probability, that will fall under the topic that is Bayesian belief network, right? That is networking of the different events. So in this case, the 5 events are there. That first 3 are the true, and second, fourth, and fifth one are the false. So that is the probability calculation of the multiple event is nothing but our Bayesian belief network. So conditional probability with respect to the events of the parent node. So computation of this will now P1 compared with its parent node, P2 is compared with its parent node, likewise the other as well. So probability of P1 by A into probability of P2 by A into probability of A alarming is there. With respect to now this alarm event is having two parents, that is the burglary and the earthquake. But in problem statement, it's negation B and negation P. That is the second hypothesis, that no burglary as well as no earthquake is there. N2, next is this negation B, probability of negation B. Now, if you observe that this event B is not having any parent, right? That is the case, so that conditional probability will not work there, as well as for the earthquake. If you observe that alarm parent node burglary earthquake for P1 call, parent node is alarm, for P2 call, parent node is alarm, right? For burglary earthquake, there is no any parent node. So burglary and earthquake, no parent node. Now in the second step, that is the conditional probability table. From this, these values, that is the observation values, we can compute this. So probability of P1 by A is 0.90. So this will be what the table, that probability of A with respect to the P1. P1 and A, that is negation is not there, means it's a true values. So call goes to the P1 provided that alarming is there. So this probability is what? That is the alarming is true and the P1 is true, that is 0.90. Okay. So the first place result is, that is the result of this is 0.90. Second, that is probability of P2 by A, that is 0.70. That alarming is there and call goes to the P2, that is 0.70. Likewise, these other values are filled. You see this last, that is probability of negation E, that is means probability of not having the earthquake. Okay. So this what is the probability of E equal to false, that is no earthquake, and the probability of no earthquake is 0.998, right? So this values of this all will come from this 4 table, 1, 2, 3 as well as this 4. So values will be put, and this will be the result of this probability of P1, P2, A, no B and no E. Right? So this is what the Bayesian belief network. Okay. So in Bayesian belief network, more than one event or dependent event probabilities are calculated. Important is that here conditional probability with respect to the events, that is the parent node. So we'll move to the next topic of the unit number 5, that is maximum likelihood. So this also will go through the example. So now this is the distribution. Okay. Distribution of the weight of the mouse. Let's say we have taken the problem statement is, that is we have taken the mouse and the weights of the mouse, and we have plotted that on a scale, that is from lower to the higher with respect to the weight. That is, let's say we weight a bunch of mice and represented like this. Okay. So as you know, in previous lecture we have seen that is the normal distribution curve. So there are lots of, that is with respect to this maximum likelihood estimation. So there are lots of different types of distribution for different type of data. Okay. So within that, one is with respect to this, as in our example, low, high, and these are with the. Now if you observe that these are what that is having nearer values, that is mid of this total low and the high. So there are three types of this distribution in literature. The first one is the normal, that we have seen this in the previous lecture, that is normal distribution curve. So in normal distribution, what you observe, that is at the peak, that is peak point, more data values will fall there. That is what the normal distribution. This is the representation of the exponential distribution of the data. The gamma, right? That is the now this particular type of curve distribution is termed as a gamma distribution. So the reason you want to fit a distribution to your data is it can be easier to work with. It is also more general, that it applies to every experiment of the same type. So distribution of our data can be easier to work out. So that we'll distribute this data like this. With respect to the curves, we'll get to know that this will be the region. That normal means what, that is in a distributed in normal way, where at the center max of the points are for. From the left side and from the right side having similarity of the values from the lower side as well as from the higher side. Now exponential will be what, that is at the start we can say there are more values will fall, and then it will get decrease the weights, right? And at certain point these weights will be in a very much nearer to each other without a difference. In gamma distribution will be what, that is the rate will be higher. You will observe that that is increasing, right? It stops here and then will go for the decreasing. That is the weights of the mouse are increasing in nature. It will start here, then the decreasing. So this knowledge will be helpful for applying the machine learning, identifying the patterns in the data. So in this case, we think that the weights might be normally distributed. But with respect to our first, that is the normal distribution. So the values, if you see that symmetric on the left hand side, lower values as well as for the right hand side. And weight of the mouse, that is the at the center, if you observe many points fall at the center, so the curve will go like this. That is the normal distribution. So that means we think it come from this type of distribution, that is the first one, that is normal. Now normally distributed means a number of things. That first thing is that we expect most of the measurement, that mouse weights, to be close to its mean, that is the average. Now, these are the properties we can say, the characteristics with respect to the normal distribution, that most of the measurement of the mouse weights to be close to the mean average, that is the center. The average of the mouse weight will be at the center. Most of the, if you observe here, it is shown that is the weights are closer to each other. Now, second thing with respect to normal distribution, that we expect the measurement to be relatively symmetric around the mean, that is for the left hand side, for the right hand side. So, if you observe that for the left hand side and the right hand side, they are not exactly the same. Right? They are not exactly the same. So, although the measurements are not perfectly symmetrical around the mean, but they are not crazy skewed. That is to one side or either side. Okay. Similarity is there on the left and right. It's not the distribution is in a very much skewed distribution will be there. Just wait for a minute. Okay, so three kinds of shapes and sizes we have seen that in with respect to the normal distribution come in all kinds of shape. That is the skinny. This will be the skinny shape, medium, and the large board. The distance in between the mouse pointer where I'm showing that is the lesser one. Point is also quite a sharp here. It's a medium, that is distance is quite large, right? And for large bounded, the distance is much more large. So once we settle on the shape with respect to our distribution of the data, we have to figure out that where to center the things, right? So is one location better than the another location? So we have four locations we have shown here, that this is the data problem statement, right, and distribution of the data, and this will be our curve. This is the second, this is the third, fourth. So this represent is what, that is the average, right? If you see here, that is this. We expect the measurement weights to be close to the mean, that is the average. That is most of the mice weight close to the average. Right. So if the average point falls here, this is with respect to this data. If it is falls here or here or here or here, this is what the adjustment of this curve where to be in this data. So obviously that perfection will be what, that should be at this center where is right now my mouse pointer. Okay. So that this will be the more right one with respect to this first one and with respect to this third one and fourth one. So when we settle the shape, we have now figure out that where to the center of the things, which location is the better. Now this is what the estimation of the likelihood. Estimation of the likelihood. So before we get too technical, let's just pick an old normal distribution and see how well it fits the data. So we have taken this as an our figure for the normal distribution. Okay. Now we'll cross check with respect to this. Now this particular distribution says most of the values you measure should be near to my average. Now in this assumption that we have taken this curve, so this point will be our average point with respect to the data represented, right? But if you'll observe that this is in reality, this is not our average point, right? So unfortunately, most of the values we measured are far from our the distribution average values. Distribution average, sorry. According to normal distribution with a mean value, this is the mean value. The probability or likelihood of observing of all this weight is low. According to the normal distribution with a mean value over our first assumption, that the probability of observing all these weights is lower one. So now what we have done, we just shifted our curve, normal distribution curve, to the right hand side. Now this is the shifted distribution over, so that it mean was the same as the average weight of our data. Okay. So this will be the perfect for this particular data. So according to a normal distribution, with the mean value will be at the center, right? And the probability or likelihood of observing this weight is relatively high. So third case, that suppose we have shifted to the writer one, that third curve. Now if we'll keep shifting the normal distribution with respect to this will represent our average value. Okay. And then the probability or likelihood of observing this measurement would be go down. So this probability or likelihood of observing these measurements would go down. In the second case, this will be the relatively high, and this first case, that is the observing of all these weights, will be the low. Probability is low. This is relatively right or the high, and here it is relatively down, lower one. So expected perfection will be what? Here is the exactness, we can say. So now we'll see that likelihood of observing the data and location of the center of the distribution. So with respect to the cases, now first case, if you'll observe that likelihood of observing data with respect to the y-axis, that is what our location of center of the distribution. Now for this first curve, location of the center of the distribution is here. If we'll go and move to the shape to the just slightly right, then average point is here as per this distribution. Second one, for third one, and for the fourth one. That is likelihood of observing the data. It is increasing, right? And go further by shifting to the curve. This will be the average points, right? And this is what that we want, the location that maximizes the likelihood of observing weights we measured. So more accurate or rightly observation will be what for this curve at the center, this curve with the average value is this, and it is having a high likelihood of observations with respect to this data. More probability or more likelihood estimation for this data will be here. So this location for the mean maximizes the likelihood of observing the weights we measured. Now this location for the mean maximizes the likelihood of observing the weights. So thus it is the maximum likelihood estimation for the mean as compared to our all assumptions, right? We'll observe this is at the maximum. Now we have figured out the maximum likelihood estimation for the mean. Now we have to figure out the maximum likelihood estimation for the standard deviation. With respect to the standard deviation. Now deviation is what? That is the for left hand side the curve, and for the right hand side for the curve. So red, green and blue, three types of examples are here. That is the distribution, figure out the estimation for standard deviation. Now the width in between this, width of the curve we can say, that is what our standard deviation. Red one, green one, and maximum large is that what this blue one, right? So computation of the standard deviation with respect to the likelihood of the observation. Now this is the data points. Here is the maximum at the center, and that we have considered. And now we are computing the deviations. Now we have to found the standard deviation that maximize the likelihood of observing the weights that we measure. Now with respect to this first, a green line, this curve is there, and standard deviation is what? This is the normal distribution that has been fit to the data by using maximum likelihood estimation for the mean and the standard deviation. Okay. This is the normal distribution that has been fit to the data by using the maximum likelihood estimation for the mean and the standard deviation. Now, when someone says that they have the maximum likelihood estimation, for the mean or the standard deviation, or for something else. Maximum likelihood estimation for the mean or the standard deviation. So you know that they found the values for the mean or the standard deviation, the maximum, the likelihood that you observe, the things you observe. So through this maximum likelihood estimation topic, what we learned that we need to distribute the data and find out this distribution curve with respect to the standard deviation. Right? That is, this is the best fit curve with respect to the data by using the maximum likelihood estimation for the mean and the standard deviation. This is the with the maximum distribution with respect to the standard deviations. Next is now the topic that probability versus the likelihood. Uh, as it's in a 45 minutes are over, so I will save this data and will come back to you soon. Okay. Just wait. I will stop this share and again I will